After our mega public hearing where we were asking folks to come in and testify through all four of those committees, we all collectively got down and went to a room, and we decided to frame what we are referring to in this bill as the architecture for a solution. What this bill does, it establishes the Crumbling Foundation's Assistance Fund and requires the Capital Region Council of Governments to use these funds to help homeowners from 1 to 4 family homes repair or replace foundations, and distributing grants up to $150,000 or 75%. It authorizes COG to use this assistance fund to establish a low-interest loan program in collaboration with the Connecticut Housing Finance Authority or a bank, as an annual $12 surcharge to certain property insurance policies to establish, which must be deposited in the assistance fund, establishes an oversight committee to review the administration of the CROG program, allows 2 or more towns to ask the Connecticut Health and Educational Facilities Authority to use bonds on their behalf so they can work to abate the nuisance caused by failing concrete, offer credit enhancements or loan guarantees, or acquire construction equipment or repair materials collectively, makes a technical change in the general municipal power statute, authorizes municipalities to waive building permit fees, requires state building inspector to waive the educational fee applicable to building permits if a municipality waives a permit fee, and requires the Department of Housing to establish an interest rate program for owner-occupied 1 to 4 family homes repairing in their concrete.
We've gotten consensus on this bill. We've got consensus on the issue, and we have consensus on real solutions, and we've brought together all the stakeholders. And I think the most important stakeholder is the person living in the home that is crumbling around them. And that's who we really are here for, is those people who came and testified over the last 2 years in front of Planning and Development and in front of all of the other committees that they've come to. I want to thank them for bringing us the issue.
That we stood before you a couple weeks ago and said that we were going to do everything we could to ensure that homeowners were not going to be forced to pay for their home twice. And that's exactly what we've done as this first step in this piece of legislation.
This is needed for Connecticut, not just for the district that we serve. Now, does it go as far as we need to go? Not yet. But as with any framework, and I love how Tim used the term, an architect for framework, and that's what we started with. We're not leaving this session without something to help these individuals by June, 7th of this year, that they can move forward. What I was really happy with was working with CROG and Lyle and their acceptance of kind of overseeing this program and running it for us, because some of the small communities just don't have the staff to do that. So having somebody like CROG step up, the Capital Regional Council of Governments step up and say, we'll help administer this. We're the towns affected by it, so we'd be happy to.
And our goal this year, through an ad hoc committee chaired by Steve Werdmer from Tolland and Lisa Pellegrini from Summers, was to come up with a framework so homeowners knew what the rules were. If you have a hurricane or a tornado, you know what the rules are in terms of rebuilding. We think it's very important to have a framework. And as Senator Larson said, we're going to be working on this architecture for a while. But at least homeowners will have, we hope, with this passage, a very clear outline of how things happen. I think that's really critical. And I think it's reasonable to expect that every year or two the legislature will come back and adjust this as new circumstances arise, which I think is appropriate. So we have already been negotiating with the administration on bonding proceeds for testing. We know more about concrete foundations than we did 6 months ago, way more, perhaps too much. And we're delighted to try, on the behalf of a majority of our towns in the region, to move this forward.